Bum 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 bum. Toy toy tales, toy toy tales, toy toy tales. Toys, I guess. A little bit of a remix today. You know, those of you who are watching my Instagram will understand that theme tune is now well and truly buried and burrowed deep inside my brain and psyche. It's a good tune, that Mission Impossible tune. It's top stuff. All right, how is everybody? How you doing? How's your week been? Who have we got? Who have we got on? Tony Z. Good old regular Tony Z. I had some messages from Mike Hex. I don't know if he's on, but I had some messages in there. So what? Oh, I'm getting dinged everywhere. I'm totally social media up. Look at me. So what's been going on this week? I have been very busy. It's a busy time of the year. Without getting into too much detail, because I would lose my job in 2 seconds, we are organizing things like 2026 and 2027 and thinking above and beyond all the regular day-to-day stuff that we're doing for 2024 and that we've also got planned and on the water for 2025. I like this period of time. It's really cool. It's all about creating and kind of plotting things out at the hallowed halls of Hasbro. I did a couple of interviews this week, which you'll be seeing coming up shortly. I hope I'll certainly let you know when they're in. Who else we got? We got Anthony. How you doing? Darth Wizzy Wizard. I got to do more of this. Darth Wizzy Wizard. Hello. Tony Z. Hey everybody. You'll see if you look here. I got some new stuff. I've been a Photoshop wizard. I got my logo up here, and in case none of you follow me on Instagram because you're only on YouTube, I've even got a little what are these called? A QR code to my Instagram, so you can get your phone if you're watching on a TV or a monitor, and you can hold it up to that, and it will take you straight to my Instagram. Come and follow along. I got about 24.8 thousand followers, which is fabulous. They are very important people to me. So if you want to join that ragtag group, come on over to Instagram. And I've also got a little thing that tells you that it's live. Beep, 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 beep. There we go. Anyway, here we got. We also got Michael Brown. Oh, that's Michael. Hi, Michael. Good evening. Perfectly formed little icon there for your Death Star. And Des T. Of course it was. It today? The NEC? I guess it was. What was Des? Tell me all about the NEC toy show today. What happened? What went on? Because that links rather beautifully into tonight's topic. So tonight's topic is about where do you get your toys? Now, last weekend, I spent a good amount of time down in Philadelphia. I took my daughter down there. She was doing something at UPenn, does hackathons and creates all these apps and websites. I don't know how she does it. I can just about do a little bit of Photoshop. But anyway, I went down there and I spent a good while bouncing around different toy stores. They have a good selection of toy stores down near Philly and the surrounding areas in New Jersey and in PA. So I went and I experienced various toy stores. And I had a really good time. And on the way back, I was driving back, and it's quite a long journey back up to the frozen lands of Boston. Well, it's getting colder now. It's not quite frozen, but what was it, like 7-hour drive? And apart from the Disney sing-along that I had with my daughter, which was freaking amazing. I love taking my daughters on long road trips because we just sing Disney tunes. They'll thank me for that. I got thinking about the types of stores that we all shop in. And I wanted to kind of arrange my thoughts, and I wanted to share it with you. And then I wanted to get your thoughts in because I've got some ideas brewing about what it means to buy collectibles and action figures and where we get them and where we can get them, where we want to get them, where we should be able to get them, where we can't get them, and everything in between. So it's a little bit of an incoherent topic today, but I just want to lay it out if I can. So I'm going to spend like 5-10 minutes just laying out my thoughts, and then I'm going to invite you to go into the live chat and start putting in your thoughts and putting in where you buy your stuff, etc., etc. So the likes of Adam Kennedy and all of you can participate. So thank you for being here. So without further ado, let's get on. All right. So let me do it properly first. All right. So I've arranged the types of places that we buy our toys and collectibles into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-ish groupings. Now, this may not be right. You may not agree with these groupings, and that's okay. but I need to like organize things in my brain. I like to do it very visually. So I've got a sort of a spectrum, as it were, from collector stores to hub stores to convention pop-ups to retro stores to pulp culture stores to big box stores and to online stores. Now I want to examine each one of those and talk about what it means, what you can get, and the kind of vibe and the experience that you get in each of those. So why don't we kick off with collector stores? Now, there are lots of collector stores out there, and typically they're kind of grungy, right? They're kind of basementy. They're full of people that are very knowledgeable. They've collected toys all their lives. They wear black t-shirts and they have sort of Star Wars t-shirts and things like that. You know, it's us. It's our typical kind of collector store. It's grungy. It's a bit of a hangout. It's usually sort of on the side of the road or in kind of these weird houses or even warehouses. I've been to warehouse once, and they're piled up high. Everything may or may not be priced. And it's the sort of the mainstay of when you think of toy collectors and action figures collectors, where we all go, right? I've been to loads and loads, and I love them because what I find is that people running them have a deep, deep love and affection for toys. They have a lifelong love of toys, and I beautifully respect them for that. It can be quite intimidating for people who aren't into toys or who just want to kind of wander in to just sort of wander in because it's such a hub of collectordom, as it were. It's the equivalent of going into a high fashion place where you walk along and you see like a high fashion store and there's not many people in there and you don't want to go in. You know what I mean? It's a bit kind of, well, I'm not sure about that, because it is a community and it is a clique. All right. So collector stores, they are the sort of that end of the spectrum of where we buy our stuff. So think about those as I'm going on, and then tell me your experiences, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to look to you at the moment, but let's go on. So on from that, hub stores, and again, I'm making these names up, right? Hub stores to me are those sort of collector stores or Magic the Gathering, D&D stores. They're a little bit less toy, but they're more sort of kind of CCG, collectible card game thing, where they're sort of grungy, but they're a little bit more kind of neat and tidy and a little bit more organized is a better word. Organized in the sense of they have tournaments and things going on there, and they have games going on, and stuff happens there. It feels a little bit more orchestrated, but it still has that very kind of grungy, I keep using the word grungy, it's pretty unfair, authentic collector feel about them, but they just have that little bit of more organization. Good examples of these with a little bit more organization, certainly less grungy, is what you find when you go to the Apple store. When you go to the Apple store, that is a community hub, hence why I call them hub stores, for people that have Apple products. And when you go to the Lego store, the Lego does a really good job of going in, and it's a store, but it's full of people that know all about the stuff. And they might hold events or competitions within that store. So there's a bit more of an experience. Maybe I should call them experience stores rather than hub stores. Don't know. But you get my point, right? So there's some that do for toys. You know, Lego's obviously toys, but there's not a lot. They're mostly sort of collectible games and things that you can do in activities. I'd like to push on that a little bit more. So let's think about that. So we move on from hub stores. We go into convention pop-ups. This is when you go to a convention or it's just a pop-up store. Now, conventions, they're big events, right? You usually go there and there's usually guests and there's cosplaying and there's all this other stuff that's going on. But there's also toy stores and merchants selling and selling stuff there. So it's all about events, guests, the experience. You usually find exclusives there. You know, exclusivity may be going on, but also it is very sweaty, right? We've all sweated our pits off at conventions, but there's a buzz there. There's something special, but they're usually huge, right? How do you get a convention shrunk down into a store? It may be a little bit of this, it may be a little bit of this, but there's something about events and guests and things going on that I like about conventions. Then we move on to retro stores. Now, this is a new one for me. I'll be honest with you. This one, I experienced a couple of stores in Philly that were retro, but they weren't toy collector stores. They had fashion, they had skateboards, they had magazines, they had wax packets, you know, the bubblegum wax packets, they had toys. And I walked in and I was like, this is cool. This is different. It felt lighter. They had music playing. It was a lot more people kind of wandering in off the street and wandering out and looking around and browsing. It felt a little bit more kind of I wouldn't say welcoming, but a little bit more easier to shop. And it was funky and it was fun. It was a lot more youthful. It felt a lot more youthful. You know, you got the generations beyond me, certainly one down, maybe even two down that are going in there. And you notice I've written nostalgia. Now, a lot of you know what nostalgia is. We're all here because of nostalgia, right? All of this stuff behind us. Nostalgia is when a younger generation that wasn't present at the time of the nostalgia get a connection to it or feel a connection or want to look towards it for that sort of heartfelt feeling because they weren't there originally, but they are there now, and it's called nostalgia. All right, it's a technical term, but these shops were cool, but they felt a little inauthentic. And I'll tell you why, because a lot of the people working there that I experienced, certainly in different places the few that I've been to, are more sort of cashiers. They're more sort of, they're there to work. Now they might be cool, but they don't have a deep entrenched knowledge. They're not like the people here that know everything about it and will sit and talk to you for hours about it. It's a little bit more kind of shallower experience, but still visually and aesthetically kind of fun to go to. So they're the retro stores. It's a new player on the block, a new kid on the block. Hang tough. Then we move into the pop cultural stores. These are these bigger, much bigger pop stores that know what they're talking about, but they have again a wide variety, a little bit like the retro stores, but much bigger. They're almost like chain stores, and you'll know a lot of them around. I won't name them, but they have records, they have collectibles, they have books, they have t-shirts, they have everything. And they have a massive selection, like huge selection. And it's nice and clean, it's nice and bright, so it's super easy to walk into and shop. It's kind of pricey though. They can be a little bit pricey. And I try to choose the word neutral. I bounced around loads of different words, but there's this sense of neutrality in there. You go in there and there's not loads of people hanging around. They're sort of behind the cashiers, and they may know a little bit of the stuff. They may know quite a lot of the stuff that they're doing, but it's not a place you go up and talk to them because they're behind the counter, and there's usually a line because it's so busy and popular, line queuing up to pay, and you can't sit and chat for a long time. So this was an interesting one to me. There's a lot of these. So that's our pop culture stores. Now we move on to the big box stores. These are our big main, in England, we call them the high street stores. What do you call them over here? I don't know what we call them. Mainline stores, big box stores, I guess. Probably why I typed it. But these are these big where they have the big toy aisles and they have everything. It's not just collectibles. It's for kids and it's for preschools and it's for everyone. And you go in there and it's super convenient. They're everywhere. You can go in, excuse me, and you can pick stuff up. But, sometimes it's inconsistent. They certainly don't have retro stuff, old stuff. They'll have modern stuff that are current. And again, it can feel a little impersonal. You're wandering on your own and you're just going to a bank of checkouts or even a self-checkout nowadays is more and more prevalent. But these types of stores are really useful. There's a lot of stuff that goes through there, but that's kind of getting to the other end of the spectrum, as it were. Am I in the shot? Yeah, like that. And then finally, we have online stores. This is where you can go and experience all the big box, all the the smaller kind of grungy collector stores and everything in between. But you're not walking in there; you're just online and you're just ordering. Okay, so you have the same amount of spectrum, but it's sitting on your couch on your sofa and kind of having a drink and having some snacks. Now, this is obviously all about choice, right? I can dance around. I can go to any of these stores, any type of store, whenever I want online, and it's easy. But it's risky. You don't know what you see. You don't know what you're buying. You know how important it is for us to see what we want to buy and check out that all the deco apps are cool and that it's exactly the right one and the packaging isn't too bust up, especially if you're buying retro stuff. So online always has a sense of risk. And it's also very transactional. You don't get much interaction with people on it. You might do if you're buying from like a third party sales site. You might kind of strike up a conversation. I certainly have with people and have a chat. But it's mostly about sit down, choose what you want, and pay your money, and that's it. That's the online experience. So I'm kind of asking everybody. Let me go back to you. Where are we? They're the types of experience that I've recognized for buying and experiencing the buying of toys. What about you? What do you like to buy? Where do you go to buy your toys? And is there something missing? What is missing? Is experience missing? Is knowledge missing? is, the actual stock and the product missing. Like, how would you make the collector toy buying experience better? All right, now this is the bit where you come and tell me stuff. This is the bit where it's going to get awkward because I'm just going to sit there looking at the camera and looking off and no one's talking to me. But tell me. And I'm just going to go jump right in. I'm not even going to pre-read. I'm just going to bang them right up. So Des T, for me as a Star Wars vintage collector, it's either conventions such as Echo Live. Yep. Toy fairs like NEC, like today's. I hope you got, what did you get, by the way, Des T? Did you get anything from NEC or online shops? What type of online? Have you got? Go here. Vintage groups, Echo Base. Yes, of course. Yeah, online. Now that's a good one. So it's online, but it's not purchasing from a store. It's purchasing from a community. That's interesting. I've never bought anything from a online community. I've bought obviously plenty of stuff from eBay, but I've never actually gone to an online community and bought and sold on there. It's interesting. My two young boys love Black Series, so when we're in Central London, we go to Forbidden Planet for those. Yeah, I haven't been there for years. That's a big store. All right, thank you, Tony Zed. That's how I always call you Zed. Darth Wizzy Wizard. Difficult where I live. Difficult where you live. Yeah, sometimes it's tricky. Do you go online? What do you do? What do we else? Brett, I have to shop online because of the big box stores incredibly unreliable in New York City. Immediately picked over. Yeah, that's the risk, right? They get a certain amount in and people know it's coming in, or they find it and they come in and they strip it bare, either for themselves or they scalp it or whatever. So it's tricky. What else we got? We go on Amazon, in-demand toys, Star Actions, which is good but a bit sterile. So Des T, you physically go there? Do you go to, because I know in-demand, I haven't been to Star Action where there's a walk-in. I was actually chatting to Wayne the other week. But in-demand I've been to up in Norwich, right? I've been to there. And that's one of those warehouse stores where you kind of drive up and you kind of go, is it here? Where is this? And you go in, there's a ton of stuff, and they're highly knowledgeable, and they'll talk to you for ages and ages and ages. Hey, it started with a click. Hey, Shelley. Lucky enough to live Diamond Toys, so pop in there occasionally. Yeah, online. eBay's great for me over the last few years. Having got back into VC late, it's harder to get earlier figures at the normal route. Yes, it is. They come and they go, right? That's the thing with waves. Right. You are talking. This is great. Thank you so much. So, Brett, every road trip I go on, though, I like to Google search for comic toy stores near wherever I'm shopping for gas food. Yeah, me too. It's funny because my daughter said to me, "Can we go down to Philly, Dad? I got to do something at UPenn." And I was like, "Do you fly? Do we pop you on a train, or do I drive you?" And I was like, "Okay, let me just have a little look where we are. You're around there, 20-mile radius. Boom, 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 4 or 5 shops. Okay, I'm going. So that toy road trip is interesting. I wonder if I could drive west from where I live now in Boston all the way down to San Diego and chart a course to go stop. I might do that one day. Can you imagine that? The mega road trip. That would be cool. That would be, why am I doing that? Oh, sorry, let me take this off. I don't need that. That would be pretty wicked. I might do that. Maybe I'll get my friends in Hasbro Post to sponsor me. Take a cameraman, just go on a trip. That'd be pretty wicked. So everyone's talking sort of about where they go. So this is interesting. Sometimes I find something on the pegs at Target and you love that feeling. I know when you walk into a place and you're not quite sure whether it's going to be there is pretty cool. Now, I have said this before. I call it everything in my life is threes. I've got 3 kids. I don't have 3 wives. I have 1 wife, but I find everything is in 3. Stories are in 3. 1, 2, 3. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. I have this theory on toy hunting that if you go to a store, and you may agree or disagree, and that's okay. If you go to a store and you really want something, you find it straight away. You go, "Oh, I got it." And you come home and you go, "Oh, I got it." Okay. If you go to a store and it's not there, and you go, "Right, I got to find it. I'm going to go to this other store," and you go to the other store and it's there, that's pretty cool. But if you go to the other store and it's not there, then you start get this sort of the panic, this kind of like, "Oh, damn it. Where is it? I've got one more chance." And if you go to the 3rd store and it's there, that is a story. That is an Act 1. I'm going, didn't make it. Act 2, didn't make it. It's going to fall apart. Oh my goodness. Act 3, I found it. That is a perfect story that you can get home, or sit in the pub and tell your mates, "I went to this place 1, 2, 3, my 3rd time. luck. That's why third time lucky or lucky's. What do you guys in America say? Third time's the charm. There's a reason behind that. I think it's psychological. There's 3 times. So, but if you don't find it on the third one, you have to go to fourth and the fifth. Then it's ruined. Then it becomes a pain. So the thrill of the hunt is in 3 stages in my mind. That's what I think. Anyway, you are banging some stuff out. What do we got here, Brett? Oh, I had a perfect three-act toy hunt in Knoxville, where at my third store, I literally made to the register checkout, totally defeated, and then saw the vintage. There you go, right? That's a story. It's all important. All this stuff behind us is all about stories. It's on in 2 weeks. If you get what the NEC or something else. Now I'm missing stuff, Des. I wish I could organize comments on the side by person and have like a running thread, but there we go. What about what's missing then? Tell me about what's missing from the purchase experience. Do you want to talk to people more at the stores? Do you want to feel like it's more of a community? Do you want to go and do stuff rather than just buy things? Do you want it to be grungy and dirty and kind of like authentic? Or do you want it to be a little bit slicker, a little bit more like the Lego store or Apple store? Or do you want it to be more like a theme park? Or like, tell me. Echo Live in 2 weeks. Thank you. Thanks very much. If I can make it. Where is it? It's in England, right? 2 weeks time in England. No, I might be at the end of October. I don't know yet. We'll see. We'll see. What do we got? Gidamo. I'm sure it's not pronounced like that, but that's how I'm going to say it. He loves the thrill of the hunt. He's in Vienna at the moment, finding a few little. Oh, wow. Yeah, what do they have? My friend is in Bruges at the moment. He sent me pictures of Smurfs. He wanted to rub my nose in it. He's in this. Oh, I've deleted it. Sorry, Simon, I deleted it. Sent me pictures of Smurfs. Like they're selling these large, kind of 7-8 inch single color Smurfs. Oh, black, red, and yellow. And he goes, "Oh, look where I am." I said, "Get me the yellow Smurf, Simon. Get me those Smurf." So, what kind of places do they have in Austria? Is it like France and Belgium where it's all Smurfs and Asterix and things, or do they have different stuff, Giudama? And that's another thing. It's like collectible experiences from around the world. How do they differ? What is different about it? What else we got? Retro Source in Long Island. That's where I was. Is that South Long Island? Vintage video games, but it's decked out with Cafe 80s in here. And the Max from Saved by the Bell. Wasn't Max the headmaster? What's the Max, Brett? The Max from Saved by the Bell. Such an experience. Yeah, things like that. I've been to a few places where you go in and there's like a gaming arcade in the back, or like a coffee shop area, or at least seats that make it look like a coffee shop. Do you want it to be a coffee shop? Do you want it to be a bar? Do you want to have a liquor license so you can go in and kind of have a beer and hang out? Should it be more like that? Oh, it's the actual restaurant, the Max. That's cool. So they have what is it called? And if I don't pick it up, stick it in the comments below where that is. I want to look into that, please, Brett. That sounds pretty interesting. What do we got here? Ken, hey Ken, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you, my buddy. I miss the era of promotional signage and displays for toys. That's why I appreciate comics and collectible stores. Yeah, they don't do that much anymore. We don't even do many shelf strips. I remember when I first started at Hasbro doing packaging, part of my job was to do all the headings and the shelf strips and the wobblers. We won't get it in focus. You know, wobblers. Remember those? I just love wobblers. Let's see them anymore. So, what have we got here? Des likes talking to like-minded people is the best thing. Meeting people with the same stuff. Yeah, when I went down to Philly, I walked in. Some of the owners knew I was coming. Some of them didn't, and it's not like I'm like the flipping guest or anything. I just come in and just have a look around. But it's so easy to strike up a conversation, which goes against my intimidating thing. But like if I go in because I know I'm a toy collector and I want to talk about toys. But you learn so much. You talk to people and you find out their history, and you find out, then their customers come in, and I just hang out there for like an hour, 2 hours, and just they introduce me to the customers, and we chat, and I say, "What do you collect? What do you like? What don't you like?" That's always interesting. You're like, what are the problems? What are the pinch points in what you do at the moment? I on most occasions tell them what I do. Sometimes I don't. But I've been to places where you just spend hours just chatting. Now, I don't know whether that's good for business, because when you're chatting, you're not spending, but equally, the vast majority of the people that come into the store are regulars, or regs, as we say in the restaurant trade. My dad used to say the regs, and they probably come in there day in, day out. And I've seen the store managers and the store owners go out their way to get them stuff and use their network of people that they know and suppliers and to get these people things that they want and need, which is a great service. So there's something very homely about it. But a lot of them don't. A lot of the owners don't sort of say, "Oh, I'm making a ton of money." But is that why they do it? I don't know. I'd love to. When I retire, I fully intend to open up some kind of store or an experience, Mr. Stevie's Toy Dungeon, maybe, where I'll sell stuff, talk about stuff. Maybe we'll have some customization. Maybe we'll have events, guests. I don't know. It's kind of why I'm doing this. I'm not ready to retire yet. Don't worry. I still need the money. So anyway, new comments. Weird. All right, what else we got? All right, this looks like it's going to be promising. Adam, in the world of 21st century convenience, the thrill of the hunt wears off quickly. We also hunt online. I enjoy browsing a wide in-person selection, even if they don't have what I want. Yeah, I like the eBay search. Other auction sites are available, but I have all my searches saved, and when I get into bed, I lie there and I go, right, have a quick browse. What's new? And it's quite exciting. So there we go. Anyway, I'm still not hearing what's missing. Like, I wish there was a poll thing I could do. Like, do you want to go to stores and just buy stuff, or do you want to go to stores and talk and have an experience? Like, what if there was more of a Lego type store or an Apple store for toy collecting? What if it opened the doors wider and brought people in and said, this is what toy collecting is about. This is a 101 on toy collecting. We could get new people into the community. Would that be cool for us, or would we feel it kind of dilutes and it kind of is inauthentic? I don't know. One thing I do know is that we need to continue to expand our community. A lot of us are getting a little long in the tooth, and I want to get the next generation of collectors and toy fans in. And I don't know whether it's easy. I don't know whether it's difficult, but I know that it has to be done. And I spent a while recently talking to a lot of younger people about toy collecting. There is a spark there. They do enjoy it, and it usually comes from parents or aunties and uncles and things like that. So it's important about passing on the generational stuff, but I don't know how we do that in retail, in stores. I know that we do it in conventions, and I know that we do it when we actually talk to people, but how do we do that within a retail environment? I'm not expecting it to answer that here, but this is a great record for my train of thought, which is just at the moment kind of rambling. And if my mother's watching, yes, I know I go on, mother, darling. And I'm sorry I didn't call you today, actually. I just realized it's my mum's birthday next week. It is the 6th, isn't it, Mum? I always forget. It's her birthday next week. She's 75, so old. So I'm sorry I didn't call you today, Mum. I've been kind of manic today. So there we are. What else we got? A Toys R Us for adults. Yeah, what does that look like? Was Toys R Us a good place for experience? Could you talk to people? And I know they used to have kind of demonstrations and things on like that. But yeah, what's a Toys R Us for adults? It's a good question, Darth. I like it. What we got here? Oh, it's Giordano. All right. So in Austria, everybody, they have definitely a Smurf and Asterix vibe in Vienna, but plenty of vintage collection, Black Series, Marvel Legends, some bagged vintage Master Users, Power of the Force, Batman. Sounds like a place I want to go. I'll be honest with you. I quite fancy Vienna. I've never been to Vienna. I think I went through Austria on a train from Paris to Italy on my honeymoon. I think I went through Austria. Anyway, sounds beautiful. All right, what's this? Stinky Cat Butt. Nice name. I can vouch for that. I have 2 down here and they stink. But the cost of hunting online is costing more and more with the little fees going up, and it takes away the meet and greet with the collection. Yeah, and everyone sells stuff. I've noticed a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a collectible." Whack up the price, even if it's not like good condition or anything like that. So it is difficult. Yeah. Maybe we should have a live eBay where you can actually talk and discuss things, and that's interesting. I'll have to check out this Echo Live, what that's all about. Okay, here we go. We're getting suggestions now. And I wish there was something like a small toy mall with a variety of retailers. There is one. Oh God, I'm never going to forget. Is it Allentown up in Pennsylvania? There is a place that I went to where I was giving away a load of stuff on my toy run, my first toy run place, and a guy, I can't remember your name, I'm sorry. I gave him a load of stuff for free because he was waiting for me for 3 hours. Bless his heart. And we went in and it was like this sort of toy mall. It was like a sort of a collector's village. And it was also toys and things. It was amazing. It was amazing. That could be cool. And how do you do that? But then can you bring that to the high street? Can you bring that to the main street? Can you make something of that? That idea of a market. They do it with food, right? You can go in, there's a lot of places in New York, you go in, it's like an Italian food market, and you have all these different vendors, and then you can sit down and eat. Why can't we do that with toys? What does that look like? That could be cool. Actually, that could be really cool. I don't know how I do that. Frankensons? What's that? Canada. I'm dancing around now. Sorry, Dar. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, how do we make employees more advocates and ambassadors versus just, people that are employees? Huh. Interesting. All right. Listen, how long have we been doing this? Are we bored yet? I can't even see my timing. What's my timing? 31 minutes. All right. So I don't know what my conclusion is. I've written a little note over there that says, in conclusion, I've written conclusion. How do we create the right mix of community and convenience within Toy Stars? Can we engage collectors and attract new fans? That's important. How do we make this whole thing generational? How do we go there with our kids and our family or our nephews and nieces and make it really, really interesting? There is something to be done there because we all know that the increase of adult collectors is increasing. Like the biggest growing demographic in toys is adults, is us. I won't say kidults because I know you don't like it and I don't like it either, but it's a big thing. Like how do we change the retail landscape and the purchasing experience to welcome that in and signal that it's okay as grown-ups to keep playing, to keep engaging with childish things, to keep engaging with innovation and imagination and playfulness. It's okay. It's actually freaking well necessary in life. Those of you who forget to play, you kind of waste away. That's my new thing. I should put it on a t-shirt. But it's really important. It's really important. It keeps us fresh, it keeps us young, it keeps us motivated, and it keeps us kind of, just alive. It's very, very deep, I know. All right, well, what's this? I can't ignore Rockin' Randy Guitar with a name like that. Welcome, welcome. I don't think I've seen you before, but this is fantastic. To take an idea from the days of physical video game releases, maybe a firm release date for action figure waves, stores do pre-sales and everyone shows up at midnight to get their figures. Yeah, the pros and cons of pre-sales, right? There's pros and cons of sort of convenience. It's inconvenient to have something release at midnight. I did Force Friday back in 2015 when I was on my first stint at Star Wars. It's one of the best nights I've ever had. To see people rushing around and grabbing toys and talking and laughing at midnight when they should be in bed with families with their kids, and I was there, and they didn't know. Well, it was me and the team. We were all there, and they didn't know who we were, and we just watched it. It was really, really emotional. It was emotional for us, and it was emotional for them. So yeah, I miss those days. We should bring those back. I like those. Anyway, and we got one final thing from you. Don't agree with Ken's small toys just for kids, but those carries lines for us older lot. Yeah, it's difficult. It's tricky. All right. So I'm going to leave it at that because it's about half an hour, which I think is more than enough for me rambling on. But Really good discussion. Thank you for those of you who always come and have a chat every Sunday when I'm doing these things live. It's lovely to see you. And I greatly appreciate you giving me food for thought and having a nice conversation. And it's nice to see some new people. This is great. So like if you like this kind of stuff, please keep an eye on this channel, on the Mr. Stevie 18 or Toy Tales. Please like and subscribe. I've learned to say that. Everyone seems to say that. And if you're not on Instagram, you want to hang out, or you are on Instagram and want to hang out, get that little QR code and come and visit me on Mr. Stevie 18, where you'll see a lot of my collection, and I, stick stuff out there for my own edification and joy. Anyway, all right. If you're having thoughts over for the rest of the evening, stick your notes in the comments below, and I will come back and I will read and I will respond to the comments below. And let's just kind of just get a load of thinking going on, because there's an opportunity here. Anyway, all right. And if you know any great toy stores around where I live, around that sort of northeast, drop them below. Give them a shout out below. And I've got to look into that traveling across the country thing. Maybe I'll do a worldwide tour. How about that? Jadama, I'll come to Vienna. That'll be pretty cool. Anyway, all right. I can smell my dinner being cooked upstairs. So I'm going to say, with all love and respect, as I always do, it's time for you lot to bugger off. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.